Turned our attention to Thanksgiving or Christmas, but this year's having a tough time getting over Halloween. Who's stepping in to help out?
The search for Jessica Herringa, creating a push for change. Who's hitting the Capitol to protect workers in her honor.
And of course, there was a lot of snow in the UP. We've got cooler temperatures and snow for West Michigan. I don't have the details with your full forecast next.
They're flying and buzzing in a neighborhood near you, but are drones safe? And what are the rules? Tonight, we talk about the drone invasion and your privacy.
From the station with the most local news, Fox 17 News at 11 starts right now.
Now at 11, a death investigation that sparked outrage. An infant found buried in some dirt outside of Muskegon Senior Living Center. Tonight, a 17-year-old is behind bars on homicide charges, who police say is the child's mother. A
worker at Trinity Manor Senior Living in Muskegon made that discovery just before 3 o'clock yesterday. That newborn was buried, left out in the elements for a long time. Police telling us tonight the baby had been there since October after the mother allegedly buried that child near her grandmother's home.
The mother, just 17 years old tonight, Jessica Brewster, is in the Muskegon County Jail, booked on homicide charges. The teenager is a senior at Muskegon High School. The newborn's death and her mother's arrest, a shock to those living at that senior living complex tonight.
I think I'm really bad, and I'm sorry it happened. I just can't get over how they could do that to a little baby.
Devastated to find out the child was out there. Yeah. You hate to hear that. You don't know what's going on with people.
Brewster will likely be in court for arraignment, where she's expected to be charged with open murder.
Such a sad story, but there are laws in Michigan to try to prevent a tragedy like this from happening.
Fox 17's Cassandra Arsenault live in Muskegon with more on the Safe Newborn Delivery Act. Cassie?
Well, guys, tonight we're hearing from the Baby Safe Haven organization, as well as a local West Michigan woman that helped bring the law here to Michigan in 2001. Now, the Safe Delivery of Newborn Act, commonly known as the Safe Haven Law, allow a parent to bring a newborn up to 72 hours old in the arms of a fire official, hospital staff, or police official, staying anonymous and guaranteeing the safe abandonment of the baby. A newborn infant let alone and buried in Muskegon, a tragic death provoking anger and questions.
It's heartbreaking because there's options, but we haven't continued to communicate that possibility.
Chris Fossey played a part in getting the Safe Delivery of Newborn Act here in Michigan, motivated to make sure young mothers in need know what's available.
Opponents of the law have been afraid that it will encourage abandonment and that the one thing that it does is strips the child's history from them. So for this little guy, we don't know his social medical history.
The parent is allowed to leave the baby anonymously but safely with a fire official, police official, or hospital staff on duty and in uniform. Since the law has been enacted, there have been about 148 safe abandonments in Michigan and nearly 3,000 across the United States since 1999. But recently, West Michigan has had 2 abandonments in the last 4 months, a trend no one wants to see continue.
The problem is that they only have like one elected official that is well into their 70s. And the problem is that there are not many young people advocating the law. There are not many young people getting the word out to younger individuals, and there is a huge generation gap.
There are alternatives like Safe Haven. There's a lot of posters up, but they're not getting to the places where moms need them.
Fossey and Rivera say it's important for these women to get the information they desperately need because they only have 72 hours to drop the baby off before they'll have to go through legal adoption. And Fossey says the law has provided wonderful outcomes.
There's one little guy I always think about. His mom surrendered him at the hospital, left him at the hospital, said, I can't parent him. The agency was called in. We were able to get a little information from her, but the law gives her the right to remain anonymous. And then he was placed with an adoptive family, and he is thriving. So he's this beautiful little guy who's growing in a loving family.
An outcome they hope to always see when it comes to a mother deciding to give up her child. Now, if a mother goes over the 72-hour mark, there are other services available, such as locally, Bethany Christian Services has a 24-hour hotline that a mother can call at any time to find a safe place to get to the baby. Now, in an amendment to the Safe Haven Law in 2006, it also allows mothers to hand their baby over to paramedics or medical technicians. I'll have all that information and more on fox17online.com. For now, live in Muskegon, Cassandra Arsenault, Fox 17 News.